So this is our 5th video on fasting. Tried to keep them short and to the point. We've talked about what is fasting in video 1, just to give you a brief idea what we talk about. What do we mean when we talk about fasting? The second video was why fast? I mean, is it just to do it? What's the point of it? Talk a little bit about that. The third video were different types of fasts. There's a full fast, a partial fast. What is that all about? And the different facets of that. Video 4 was the side effects of fasting. There's some positive and some negative and some just plain side effects of fasting. What does your body go through when you don't eat? So we talk about a few things in that video. And today what I want to talk about is before you begin. Hopefully by now you're ready to go. You're thinking, well, I can do this. That doesn't sound too intimidating. It sounds like there's some great benefits. But I want to cover a few things before you begin. The first thing is don't make a big deal out of it. And what I mean by that is don't suddenly think you're like the biggest superstar spiritual person on earth because you're fasting. It does put you in the minority, that's for sure. It does put you in, dare I say, an elite group of people spiritually who actually discipline themselves at fasting. But even using that word, suddenly you start feeling pretty good about yourself. Don't go there. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 6, when you fast, he's talking to the people here, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites. They've disfigured their faces that their fasting may be seen by others. Their biggest goal is they want to make sure other people know, hey, I'm fasting, look at me. Feeling pretty weak today. Feeling like I'm not getting my nutrients like I should. All right, he says, so don't just do that. They disfigure their faces while they're fasting that can be seen by others. He says, truly I say to you, they've received their reward in full. If all you want is to be known as a faster, I guess then, go ahead. But you're not getting any of the benefits that we talked about in the last video, spiritually speaking. He says, Jesus says in verse 17, but when you fast, anoint your head, wash your face. In other words, look normal, look normal, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Let this be a journey between you and God. Now, you may have to communicate to a few key people so they know, hey, don't make dinner for me tonight or something like that. But the idea is don't broadcast it to the whole world. Sometimes I'll let people know I'm fasting simply as a motivation. So I'm in a kind of a weird position there, but I try not to, you don't always know when I'm fasting, all right? You don't need to do that. The average person just doesn't need to run around telling people they're fasting. It is a personal journey between you and God. Maybe between you and your spouse if you're doing it with your spouse together, or a close friend or a small group or something that you can have a conversation there. Just don't tell the world about it. People at work don't need to know about it. People at church don't need to have hourly updates on what you haven't eaten this hour. Just quietly, humbly fast. Another thing, use a fasting journal. I wish I had done this all along. I just haven't. But there are so many times I've thought back to the past times when I had fasted. Maybe some big thing had happened in my life and I can trace it back 4 years or something. And I think, this all started at that one fast. I would be able to trace that easier and connect those dots easier if I had a journal going on about my fasting. It's just a great idea. But every major move in my life that I have ever had always traces back to some time when I was fasting. The decision to plant a church, the offer for someone had made to me to come and plant a church, the timing of when to plant the church, choosing leaders in a church, choosing direction and praying for our children, big moments in their lives. I can trace back to fasting when I was fasting and praying for them. Development of some key sermon series over the years. I mean, just a number of very special jumps in my spiritual life can directly be traced back to times when I was fasting. And I wish I had a journal. All you have to do, because you have no idea what God's doing usually during this fast or what's going on. Maybe a thought, a direction you have that later on, brings some big surprise. If you just sat down during the fast and just jotted a couple sentences every day here and there, here's what I think I got out of this. You could just have a journal that's just for fasting, and you could look back over several fasts that way. I think it'd be a great idea. You don't have to be comprehensive, like I said, just a few notes, maybe a thought here and there, and you look back on those once in a while. You'll be surprised at how God has moved. The next thing, you have to start or you won't. When it comes to fasting, you might have watched these videos and thought, yeah, fasting, great idea. I'll do that sometime. You know what? If you don't decide, you just won't do it. If you don't put down a date, it's not going to happen. So set a start time, set an end time, determine a purpose for your fast, and just do it. Just do it. Get a fast going. If you leave it vague, I'll do it someday. Chances are it'll never happen. So here I want to end up all these videos with a challenge to you. To take your next step, whatever that might be. If you've never fasted before, maybe you could start a fast, just a sunrise to sunset fast. Do a couple of those. You can have breakfast before sunrise, and then when the sun is shining, don't eat. And when the sun goes down, have a snack. So it's not even a full day. It's sunrise to sunset. And hey, if you do that in the wintertime in Iowa, that's like, 3 hours, right? I mean, it's not, sun rises late and goes down early. But that's a start. Do that a few times. When you survive that and realize, hey, that was no big deal, then move to a 24-hour fast. If you've never done a 24-hour fast, do that. Jump on that next. And once you've done that, I'd move to just start scheduling. Okay, once a month. I'm just gonna fast once a month. I think I told you in one of the videos, I have a buddy who fasts once a month for his children, and he has a group of people who pray for him. He'll send out a text. I'm one of those people. He gets a text. Hey, here's what this child's doing. Pray for this and that. And it's just cool to know that he's praying for his children. He's fasting for his children. It's a scheduled thing. Once you get that down, try a series of 2-day fasts. So 48 hours, and see how that goes for you. You conquer that thing, move to a 3-day fast, and you conquer that a few times, you will find yourself wanting to do a longer fast just to experience it. And again, you'll never, I mean, it's just an amazing journey that you will go on. I would encourage you to get some type of accountability partner. You might be thinking, yes, I'm going to do this. This is going to be great. I can't wait to get this thing started. But if you don't tell somebody and say, here's my dates. Keep an eye on me. Make sure I'm doing it. You'll talk yourself out of it. You have an enemy out there who doesn't want you fasting because this is powerful stuff. You'll find all kinds of reasons not to. So get some type of accountability partner to keep you fasting. Maybe a spouse, maybe a close friend. Definitely someone of the same gender. You don't want this to fall into a thing of temptation, the marital fast. We talked about that a little bit. Fasts are highly spiritual. They form strong bonds with someone that you are fasting with or you're accountable and talking with about this. You don't want that to lead to problems down the road. All right? Hey, that's it, man. Don't overcomplicate this thing. That's all you need to know. Get ready for spiritual growth like you have never experienced and never have expected. Get your fast going soon.